Long before the pyramids pierced the sky, long before the pharaohs wore their crowns, there was Anubis, the silent guardian, the black jackal who stood between life and death, the protector of souls as they crossed into eternity. His name whispered in the halls of tombs, painted on the walls of temples, etched in the book of the dead. Anubis, the god who guides the dead. Anubis's beginnings were as mysterious as the desert winds. Some say he was the son of Osiris and Nephthys, born in secret, hidden from Isis. Others whispered that he was even older, a god from the earliest times before the great dynasties, before the throne of Ra. Regardless of origin, one truth remains. Anubis was entrusted with the souls of the dead. In ancient Egypt, the dead were not simply buried. Their bodies were prepared with sacred rituals, organs removed, bodies embalmed, wrapped in countless layers of linen. Mummification was not merely preservation. It was preparation for the afterlife. And who watched over these fragile vessels? Who ensured the dead were not disturbed? Anubis. Priests wore jackal masks to honor him as they performed the rites. His image stood guard at every tomb, for grave robbers and evil spirits feared his wrath. But Anubis's role extended beyond the tomb. When a person died, their soul, the Ba, embarked on a perilous journey into the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. It was Anubis who met them at the gates. With his torch, he guided them through shadowed corridors, past rivers of fire, through caverns of serpents, beneath stars that never set. He was not a judge, not a punisher. He was a guardian, a guide, a shepherd of souls. At the very heart of the Duat stood the Hall of Ma'at, the Chamber of Truth. Here, the soul faced its final trial. The gods assembled. The air was still. Torches flickered against polished stone. And at the center stood Anubis, holding the sacred balance. One scale for the soul. One scale for the feather of Ma'at, the symbol of absolute truth and divine order. The deceased's heart, still beating with every secret thought. Every hidden sin was placed upon the scale. If the heart was lighter than the feather, the soul was pure. It was granted passage to the field of reeds and eternal paradise. But if the heart was heavier, it was devoured by Amit, the devourer part, crocodile, lion, and hippopotamus. The soul was erased, condemned to eternal oblivion. Anubis did not judge. That was the duty of Osiris, the Lord of the dead, and the council of 42 divine assessors. Anubis's role was pure and terrifying. He ensured the scales remained perfectly balanced. No bribes, no lies, no second chances. For in death, all truths are revealed. The feather itself represented cosmic balance, truth, justice, harmony. Even the smallest deceit, the faintest unspoken guilt, could tip the scale. The heart could not lie, and Anubis, silent, steady, unblinking, watched every heartbeat fall into its place. As the scales tilted, the entire hall would fall silent. The gods leaned forward. Amit growled softly, waiting. The soul stood frozen, powerless, and Anubis, calm, unmoved, eternal. The fate of eternity rested in the perfect balance of his scales. Beyond the weighing of the heart, Anubis remained, protector of the tombs, keeper of the mysteries of death, master of the sacred rites. While priests prepared bodies for mummification, it was believed Anubis's invisible presence stood with them, ensuring every incision, every ritual, every prayer was done with care. Failure to honor the dead invited his wrath. The jackal's eyes saw through all deception. No grave robber could escape his gaze. No blasphemer could hide from his shadow. But Anubis was not only a guardian of the peaceful dead. In the endless struggle against ice-fed the forces of chaos, Anubis stood with the gods to defend Ma'at, the balance of all existence. He warded off wandering spirits. He fought back creatures of darkness lurking near tombs. He protected both the living and the dead from cosmic imbalance. While Ra battled Apep in the sky, Anubis held firm in the world beneath. Why a jackal? The jackal was known to roam the desert outskirts where cemeteries lay. But for the Egyptians, this animal did not symbolize fear. It symbolized guardianship. Anubis transformed the scavenger of death into the protector of souls. His black fur represented rebirth, fertility, and the fertile soil of the Nile, the color of mystery, the color of eternity. Unlike many gods who ruled over kingdoms, Anubis ruled over a passage. He walked with every soul, rich or poor, pharaoh or peasant. Every person who ever lived would meet Anubis. He was not a god of distant thrones or unreachable heavens. He was close, watching, guiding, judging none, but missing nothing. As empires rose and fell, as gods were worshipped and forgotten, Anubis remained. His image survived beyond pharaohs and dynasties, painted in tombs, carved into stone, etched into papyrus scrolls. Even when new gods emerged, even when Osiris took dominion over the dead, Anubis's role never faded. He was the first protector, the first guide, and in many hearts, still the truest. Today, Anubis remains one of the most recognizable deities from ancient Egypt. His jackal head appears in movies, video games, and books. His role as a psychopomp, the guide between worlds, fascinates scholars and myth lovers alike. His symbolism transcends religions and cultures. In him, we see the inevitability of death, the hope of safe passage, the dignity of truth. Anubis reminds us that death is not simply an end, but a doorway. While kings sought immortality, while priests prayed for divine favor, Anubis walked with everyone, the forgotten, the sinners, the righteous. He did not promise salvation. He did not promise punishment. He promised justice, and in that balance, he offered something more precious than eternal life: order, peace, truth. Anubis was not a god of thrones or empires. He was a god of pathways, a guide, a guardian, a silent hand that reaches out in our final moments. This is Pantheon Files, where even in death, mythology lives forever.